Building a mob farm seems easy enough to do, but once it's standing, it doesn't always work. In this episode, I will be troubleshooting my own mob farm that I'm building on the Breaking SMP. I will do this by building two mob farms. The one is going to be stupidly built and doesn't work. The other one is going to be perfectly built and it works very efficiently. So if you are struggling with your mob farm, please keep watching because I will point out some of the problems I had and most likely you have as well. Welcome to a Patat Minecraft video. This is episode 3 on the Breaking SMP Minecraft series. So let's see how I built the first mob grinder. That really sucked. So I took all the blocks I had in my inventory and hid to the closest beach, which is right behind my house. And I just started building up 15 blocks. Don't ask me why just 15, but yeah, just go with it. And from there I just started building the skeleton structure of the canals of the dark room. You can already see I am building this thing from back to front, from totally wrong. I'm really just go with it. Then I drop down and I dig down the stem so it is 23 blocks in length, which is correct, but why do half of it into the ground? Don't ask me. I went back up and placed water all around my mob spawner on the floor, which is not wrong of me to do because I have a habit of falling to my death. Now I decide to make some trapdoors and place them in the correct spot on the canal walls. Then I decided to create the platform of the dark room on which all the mobs will be spawning. I built up the walls and the roof and then started putting in the water in the canal. And at this point I realized I made my canals too long, so I placed a few extra blocks at the back of the canal so it is only flowing 8 blocks, but now I have this little extra pillar in the back, which I don't know might be a problem or not. With the dark room done, I went back down and I finished up the stem. But at this point, my only blocks left are the falling blocks, aka the sand and gravel. So I built up the stem with those blocks, and that was really not a good idea, seeing as while building, the creepers kept exploding and my stem keeps falling apart from the top down to the bottom because it's falling blocks. So with the basic design done, I wanted to test if this works. So I built myself up right and built a AFK platform right underneath the dark room, and I sat there for quite a few hours. Getting back from the AFKing, I found these 2 signs, which other SMP players left for me. It was very cute to find it. Thank you guys. And for some reason, when I went back to the collection room, there was nothing. Well, a little bit. There was like 1 or 2 mobs every now and then, but that doesn't count. The mob grinder is not working. So now I'm going to list all the problems in this mob grinder before I'm going to go and build the second perfect grinder. Problem number 1 would be location. You need to build your mob grinder over the ocean with at least 120 blocks up in the air, because that's the radius of spawn. So if there is a cave underneath your mob grinder and that cave is within your 120 blocks, then your mob grinder is not going to work as efficiently as you hoped, because the mobs are also spawning in the cave and not in the mob grinder. Problem number 2 would be the AFK location. You need to stand at the bottom of your stem, because that is not too close and also not too far. As soon as you go further than 25 blocks, it's not the mobs can despawn, and if you're too close to the dark room, they won't spawn, because that's kind of how they work. Imagine walking through a cave. You've never seen them just randomly spawning right next to you. They're always spawning in the distance, and you find them in a cave that they're already in. So just think about that. Problem number 3, make sure your measurements of the mob grinder is correct. Make sure the stem is about 23 blocks in length, and make sure that the mob room is long enough for the water, so it would be 8 blocks canal, or even 15 if you want to make it a water drop canal. Having wrong measurements can decrease the efficiency of the mob grinder, so just keep that in mind. Problem number 4 would be the building blocks. Do not use falling blocks like sand or gravel. Use blocks that will stay in the air, so that if there is a problem like a creeper blowing up the thing, then you can easily repair it and not struggle with all the blocks falling from the top to the bottom and just completely ruining the whole build. And a suggestion I also want to make on this point is making use of nice blocks or uniform blocks. Don't build it patchy, so that you actually enjoy looking at it and it doesn't ruin the view, like my first mob grinder is doing at this moment. Problem number 5 would be in the collection room or collection platform. You have to make sure that you have a system in place that captures all the loot, and the best way of doing that is hoppers, but also make sure that the creepers don't see you, because they will blow up your hoppers and you will lose a lot of resources by keep making hoppers again and again and again. I know this by now. It's frustrating. Problem number 6. Place some lights on the roof of your mob spawner. Otherwise you're going to have some mobs spawning on there, and then they're not going to fall through, so it's not going to be as efficient as you want it to be. Let's go back to block Breaking SMP, and I'm going to apply these problems and solutions to the new mob farm. I went down into my mine and mined out cobblestone, and only cobblestone. In the process I also mined out a safer entrance to the mine, and it came out right next to my house, which is perfect. I got loads of sand, which I'm using to tower my way up to Y150. Y12 would also be fine, but I was just making extra sure, so I went all the way up to Y50 and I started building the stem of the mob grinder. I built it up 22 blocks high and then fell off accidentally into the water. So I went and fetched some wood and built a ladder all the way to get it back up. Building over the ocean is quite nice because you don't have fall damage. So now, knowing how ridiculously I built the first time around, I started building the canal floors first, then adding the canal walls, which is 2 blocks high, and then adding the platform, the wall, and then the trapdoors. That's the most easiest order to build the mop grinder. I started building the roof from the outer layer inward, so there's always light everywhere where I am, and that's also the area where I'm going to fall down into the water again when I finish up the roof. So at this point the mop grinder is functional. The only thing that's missing is the capturing platform, which I'm starting to build right now. It took me a while to build because the creepers kept exploding and I kept being shot by skeletons. And oh, the witches throwing potions. That is not very nice. And with the new one done, I tried to blow up the old one, which was an epic fail. So let me show you how my mop grinder works and how the platform looks. So you take the boat all the way to this water stream and just swim up it. You can actually breathe as well all the way up. It takes a very long time, just be patient. And this first platform is actually just a maintenance platform when I had to keep repairing all of this when it gets blown up. So this is actually nothing to do with you, it was just for myself. Okay, and here is my platform. So that's the mop grinder, the dark room and the stem. I have a chest just for all the extras. Crafting table is always a good thing to have. And this is my AFK room. So I built up wall and a roof for if I AFK and there's phantoms going around. This is my 2 collection chests. The hoppers, there's 4 hoppers going into the 2 chests. So coming out, I built up a ladder, and then here is dispensers with water buckets in them if I would like some drowned loot. I actually don't know if I can get drowned loot by just converting zombies into drowned, but I'm hoping that is the case. And this is my platform. It's very, very efficient. Only thing you have to keep in mind is that the max spawn mobs that can spawn is about 80. So every now and then you just have to come out and then open up these flaps, and then you can just kill them off. Okay, so the only other thing that is missing here is I had some campfires here, which I can just light up with my flint and steel, which I don't have right now. So if you don't want to keep killing them and you just want to AFK for loot, you can just light them up and just stand there and they will just, the fire will kill them, the loot will just come in. But if you want the experience, you use a shovel, hit the fire and it will go out, and then you can just wait in the AFK room and just and you get the experience. I see there is one that I can't get to. The reason why I have these 2 blocks here, as soon as you don't have these 2 blocks and you go closer, the creepers can see you and this whole thing blows up. I had to make a lot of hoppers, like I said before, because they keep blowing up my hoppers, and hoppers is very expensive. So just be careful, make sure you have these 2 blocks in between you and your mobs. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will also be making a tutorial on this exact mop grinder so that you can see exactly how this is built and have this whole luxurious capture platform, which I'm kind of proud of. Okay, cheers guys, bye.